Welcome to Yoga for Musicians. I'm Yoga Lene, and today it's all about the shoulders. It's gonna be a full body workout. So if you have been to any of my previous online workshops, this is gonna be much more like a proper workout. But of course you adjust, and depending on what you're doing today, if you have a long rehearsal after, or if you're gonna play a concert, and if you're not used to do strength training and things with your shoulders, then of course just touch it, feel it, maybe don't put so much weight on it. So be smart. And if you have the day off and just gonna practice and have a nice day, then of course you can just like, yeah, okay, this is the time to strengthen up my shoulders. But first, we need to talk a little bit about the shoulders, and then I will move over to my mat and we will do the class. And shoulder, it's so much more than just this part. It's actually a lot of bones, also the collarbone. And a cool thing is that here, if you feel the collarbone and just end up here, this is the only little joint where the bones of the shoulder is attached to the rest of your bones. That's kind of cool. So everything around the shoulder is just like hold there with muscles and other stuff. And the shoulders is of course also the shoulder blade and this kind of flat bone here, and yeah, the front side. So the shoulder is really complicated, and from way back we were meant to do a lot of things forward like we do today, to cook and carry and pick stuff, but we were also designed to drag up some roots or fighting, throwing things, climbing, swimming. And today, and especially for musicians, you might have the hours every day, and it's basically most of the time in rotated. 4 muscles that make that, and it's only 2 muscles that make the out rotation. And we need that to have a better posture, and a better posture means that everything will get all the blood it needs and all the liquids and stuff. You will get more air, and it will affect your face, your shoulders, your arms, everything. So let's just try now to sit with a really bad posture. So really like this, and then try to take a big breath. It's not getting very big, right? And then if you sit up, roll your shoulders back, try to be nice and tall and relax your belly, and then take a big breath. It's easier and it feels better. And another test, again, bad shoulders or bad position, and then try to raise your arms. It's not so easy. And if you then have this position, like I see sometimes in the orchestra, and then you lift your arm to play some instrument, and like, yeah, I get so much pain in my shoulder. I wonder why. Because try to do the opposite, and then lift up your arms. Aha, there you can move, right? So it's so important that we get strengthened on the backside and do. I know that many musicians do this more like passive stretches, and those are really good, but we need to be more aware of the backside and this. We have a big muscle here that we're going to work with today, and it goes also in between all the ribs. So to have contact with that will make it stronger, so you can really get that nice position. And also between the shoulder blades, we're gonna put some extra attention, because many of you have done different stretches and things for the shoulders with me, but today it's gonna be a little bit more work. And I also have some props. You can see I have 2 blocks there. I don't know if you have yoga blocks, but if you don't have, I have made here, this is the Lord of the Rings, wrapped in glad pack. It might work not for very much like support, but it might work for the things we're going to be doing today. So put some books together or a big book and wrap it in some nice paper or something. Other options, take whatever you have, can of beans, some cocoa cocoa oil, that's very stable if you need it for some kind of support like this, you know. So be creative. You're all creative people, and you don't have to always buy the props. And I have some other props I'm going to show you in the end. But now we're going to move. So I'm going to move over to my mat. And I like to sit up on a block to get my hips a little bit higher. You can sit with a cross-legged position, or you can sit like this, even with the block, or any other position where you can have a nice and long back. And we're starting off with some swipes to get that full range of the shoulder. So inhale, cross your arms in front of you, begin it all the way up, and then really open up, exhale all the way down. Keep going and breathe in and out through your nose. Exhale, and like in a molto legato, it's just one big movement or phrase. So that was a few swipes, and then we're going to do a shoulder sequence. So do a circle instead. Inhale, bring both arms up. Try to get the ribs away from your hips, free shoulders. Exhale and rotate to the right side. And this time, don't drop your arm down, but try to actively, from that muscle on the backside, try to rotate back. Then inhale, find some length. Exhale, rotate back. So it's not the arm that's rotating, it's your body. And this is just an extension of it. And on your next inhale, bring that back hand to the opposite knee. Maybe grab both your knees. Exhale, round your back. So you're separating your shoulder blades here. Get a nice stretch. Next inhale, roll all the way back up with that swipe. Exhale, land down. Other side. Inhale, swipe. Exhale, land down. Inhale, length. Exhale, and now from that muscle on the backside, you can feel, hopefully, that you're activating it. One more breath, finding length out through the top of your head. Exhale, rotate deeper. Next inhale, the back hand, go opposite knee, grab, exhale, all the way up. So we're starting to get in contact, and we start to flow around the shoulders and get in contact with all these important muscles. I've been doing this a lot the last days, I can feel, because I was preparing this class. So I'm a bit sore in my muscles, but they're gonna be strong soon. And from here, come to child's pose. So now we just touched it a little bit. And then when you lie down in child's pose, you can bring your knees together, or you can have them broader apart. But in this, because we're going to do a variation of it, I prefer to have my knees together. My forehead is resting down. Make sure that your jaw, your neck, everything is relaxed, and hands forward. And try to relax your shoulders as much as possible, just your hands resting in the floor. Then bring both hands with length over to your right side of the mat. So you can feel a stretch in under, around your armpit, I would say. So you find the side there. Keep breathing and send your breath to that area. And if you're familiar with the Ujjayi breath or the ocean breath, that kind of sound that you can make when you're breathing, then you can use that. Otherwise, just inhale, exhale through the nose. And then slowly move back to the middle, and then over to the left side. And notice, especially when you play instruments, it might be very different on different sides. This one is much more sore for me. I can feel I have some tension on this side.
So then I try to reach a little bit more forward and I send my breath to the area where I feel it the most. And try to melt that area. So this is more like a passive stretch. And it's so good to do all of these movements to create those really happy shoulders without any pain. Okay, bring it back to the middle.
And then come to all four. And here we're going to find contact with that area in between the shoulder blades. So when you're doing this on all four, it doesn't feel much. This is not strength training. So spread out your fingers, have your hands just under your shoulders and knees under your hips. And then just keep your straight arms, but drop down your heart. So your shoulder blades go together and then you push the mat away. So you're separating your shoulder blades as much as possible. Do this a couple more times and then inhale when you drop your heart. Exhale when you round your back. One more time. And all the time with this presence and try to let the breath lead the movement. Okay, so this is not really strength training, but you can move your knees more back. Maybe you want to give it a try. Now I have more weight in my hands. I drop down my heart. I push away. So now it's more of a strength training. If you want more than this, if you're really used to strength training, you can go up in a plank pose and do the same thing there to really activate. Or the hardest one is to put your toes in like this. Or maybe put your feet up on something. It's even harder. But you have to adjust. So maybe you then want to stop the film. If you're not in the live session, you can stop the film and make some more of your variation. But it's always good to just find that contact. So from here, sit back, do a swipe. And I know some of you will like, oh, my wrists. It's good to put some weight on them, then take it off, do different movements, and it's gonna be fine, I promise. Okay, we're going to go to a downward facing dog. If you're not familiar with that, then have a look. I go from the same position, tuck my toes in, lift up my knees, and then I try to get to a straight back. So you can see this diagonal line from my hands and all the way up to my sit bones. So I can bend my knees, or I can have them straightened. Depends on the length of your back side, but most important is to be able to hold that back. And now we're going to try to do the same thing here. So push the mat away so your shoulder blades go up towards your ears, and then do the opposite. And then back up again. So it's almost like we did, but it's another part of that big muscle on the side that I showed you that we're working with. So it's just to get some connection to that. Okay, bring your knees down, sit back to a swipe, some circles with your wrist. I know that musicians don't like to stay for a long time in downward facing dog. What we can do with the downward facing dog, if you look at my shoulders now, I'm going to do it towards you. If I push the mat away, my shoulder goes towards my ear, and then I will land it a little bit more back and try to broaden my shoulder blades. I hope you can see this. So I try to broaden and put them a bit back into my back, but I'm not pushing them down into my back. That's not a good position when I have my arms here. So I try to just find this natural wide position where I actually use my muscles here. That will help you if you go to yoga classes and feel that, oh, I have to stay long in downward facing dog. Otherwise, just set your knee down, do a swipe. So you can always adjust with that. Okay, so come to downward facing dog again. Do one more, push away, and then try to broaden the shoulder blades back into the back until you feel that you're activating that. Take small steps to the top of your mat. You can land hip distance apart and just
melt down in a forward fold. Here you can grab your opposite elbow like a weight and shake a little yes and no with your head. Make sure that your shoulders, your neck, everything is relaxed. And you can bend your legs a lot here if you want. You can rest your belly on your thighs, or you can stretch maybe one leg at a time to find more contact on the back side. So just notice that you can always do some adjustment you can always adjust to make it more interesting for you. And from here, push your feet down, roll up all the way to your Tadasana, the mountain pose. And from here, inhale, do a big circle. Grab your right hand with your left hand and try to pull it equally balanced on your feet, but try to pull it to the side. And then bend your legs a little bit and go for a circle. So go all the way down, all the way up. And probably you felt something interesting happening on the sides there. Change sides, then pull, lean over a little bit, still equally balanced on both feet. And then your circle. You can make it big or smaller. And notice if you notice some tension somewhere, maybe you need to put some more love there. Okay, bring your hands down. We're going in to the sun salutations, and we're starting with the Global Yoga Classic Sun Salutation. I know that some of you know it already. Hip distance apart, inhale, swipe. Exhale, roll down. Put your fingertips in the mat. Bring big step back, and like on a rail track, bring your knee down, your foot down. Inhale with the swipe, come up to low lunge, and then sink deep down. But activate in your pelvis and navel towards the spine. So some activation and not just collapsing down. So try to hold that. And then put your hands in the mat. Downward facing dog. So push yourself back to downward facing dog. And on your next inhale, lift your heels, roll through the body to a plank position. And of course, yes, you can put your knees down if you need. And from here, try to go all the way down in the mat. Elbows are close to the body. You're landing down, roll your shoulders back, lift your heart up and forward. So it's like a pushing my mat back with my hands to try to lengthen out and look down in the mat. Take your toes in, back, downward facing dog. One breath here, maybe out through the mouth. Inhale, lift your right foot back and up to a three-legged dog. Inhale, come to plank position again. Bring your foot with you and bring it forward. Sit down with left knee. Inhale, some power here. And this is different. It's 90 degrees. It's not this one, it's here. So one more big inhale through the nose and then to forward fold. So this is the extended version of the brushroom sun salutation, if you know that already. Come all the way up with a swipe. Land in your Tadasana. Other side, inhale, swipe, exhale, roll down, fingertips in the mat, left foot back. And notice now your shoulders, when you swipe, try to make them as free as possible and open them up. Okay, downward facing dog. So we know now just flowing through it. Next, inhale, lift your heels, roll to plank position, come all the way down in the mat. Roll your shoulders back, lift your heart forward, use your back side of the body. Take your toes in, we meet in downward facing dog. One breath here. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, bring left leg with your right knee. Inhale, power. Exhale, release. Inhale, roll all the way up. And exhale.
And now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to put in some active rotations where you use that muscle to really push it back. Okay, again, inhale, swap. Exhale, roll down, fingertips in the mat, right leg back, sorry. Come down, inhale, swipe, up, exhale, land down. And this time, inhale, bring your arms up, exhale, right hand goes forward, left hand goes back. And it's happening from the back. So notice now that you're with your left backside, you're pulling it back. You're breathing, length, and then exhale, rotate even more. And it helps also if you activate that pelvis muscles and or the core muscles to help you to find this strong position and push down your feet, your roots, to be able to lift up. Okay, next inhale, bring your hands up. Exhale, down in the mat. We move on to downward facing dog. And here I'm going to show you the optional vinyasa. So you can take the normal one, like we did before, with plank pose and down in the cobra, or you can put your knees down, sit back, do a swipe, put your fingertips in the mat behind you, roll your shoulders back, lift your heart up. And take a couple of breaths here. And then you come to all four and meet up the others in downward facing dog. And you can use this optional vinyasa, of course, in any class if you want to save your shoulders or wrists a little bit. Next inhale, bring your right foot back and up. Exhale, bring it forward. Come down with left leg. We're going to do a rotation again. So inhale, up. Exhale, now is left arm going forward, right hand going back. And now use your back. Inhale, length. Exhale, deepen. Push your feet down to be able to lift, find the stabilization towards the midline. Keep breathing, relax your face. And then next inhale, power up, and then continue. Just forward fold, inhale all the way up. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I hope you feel that activation on the back side and find that interesting. Inhale, swipe. Exhale, melt down. Left leg, big step back, knee down, foot down. Inhale, swipe. Exhale, deep down. Then inhale, arms up. Now left arm forward, right arm back. Inhale, find length. Exhale, deepen from the back. Now it's the backside of your right lung or right side that drags you into the rotation. Next inhale, hands up. Exhale, down in the mat, downward facing dog. And now you choose either the optional vinyasa, I'm going to show it here again, or a normal one. So I'm swiping up, fingertips behind, roll my shoulders back and try to open and lift my heart up. And then we meet in downward facing dog. Next inhale, left leg back and up. Move it forward, land down your right knee, and we're going to rotate to the left this time. So right arm goes forward, and then inhale, length, exhale, and use your back. It's like a ballerina, right? It's the arms are just lengthening out. Otherwise, it would never be interesting to look at a ballerina, just like some arm. But if it's like coming from your body, it's an expression, it's something else. Then next inhale, bring your arms up, power, exhale, forward fold. And then inhale all the way up and land down. And another variation, inhale, swipe, Exhale, come down. And this time, just walk to your downward facing dog. Then next, inhale to a plank position. And just drop down your hip here. Put your feet in and then lift off your knee. This is an upward facing dog. Here you need a lot of core muscles. And try here to drop down, push away, drop down. This is another part of that big muscle working. So you can also use this as strength training. Okay, knees down, sit back. But that's a powerful variation, but it should be possible even for musicians. You don't have to do it long, right? Then you can shake it off. I hope you can see me when I'm back there. I can't really see my camera. Okay, so from here, I want you to find 2 blocks if you have. You can do this without as well. If you're doing it without, just put your hands down and you can come to all 4. And then you are just with your back, you're pushing down with your left hand and lifting up your right without lifting the arm. You're lifting with the back and pushing down. And then you're gonna do the opposite and we're gonna walk them out. But if you have blocks, you can do this even more because then you can start on your blocks and then you can push and walk away your right hand, and you can push it, walk away your left hand, and then back up. So push, land, push, land. And of course, as earlier, you could do this in a plank position. Then it's much more heavy, it's much more strength training. So find your level and do some more of this. So it's about pushing down to lift up with the back. You go down, and it doesn't matter really the choreography of it as long as it's kind of balanced. So you don't just do the right or just do the left one. So this is a great exercise again for the back to strengthen up and activate those muscles. But sit back now, do a swipe, and some circles with your wrists. And again, as long as you do it just a little bit and then go off, and of course you will feel it, but if it's not like a red pain or you have some injury, you will be fine. So that's another way of using blocks, or of course books or something else you can use to really find those muscles. And now sit back on your heels and bring your mat with you. So you're gonna put your hands like this, thumbs on the upper side, and I will really grab my mat. I use my elbows, put them close to my body, and the thing is that I want like an out rotation. I want the activity in the back. So you're gonna try to pull your mat apart. Don't pull it apart, of course, but yeah, so it's an isometric hold. So you're activating your muscles, keep breathing, find a long neck, relax your jaw, and try to really use your back muscles. And then release. Take a little wider grip, so a little bit more out, and then try again. Elbows are close to the body, and try to, like you're pulling the mat apart from each other. Can you feel that activity on the back side of the, in between your shoulder blades, and maybe in the arms as well. Oh, okay, release. And then the very end of the mat, so a bit wider. And then pull it apart, and not so much with your hands, but also with your back. So you're trying to get that shoulder blades in together, and then release. So you can see that you don't need so many props. And of course you could do this with a rubber band or something else, but the mat is good for this as well. So that was another really nice one. Now we're going to do a passive stretch, but with a little massage, because many of you have probably, so if you have a wall close to you, you can do it also by the wall like this, if you don't have a corner like me. And yes, you can still see me. Okay, so I put my arm in 90 degrees on the wall, and I take a step forward, get the full range of this. So go to that point where you really feel that, okay, that's my 100%, okay? And now you're feeling this pectoralis, major and minor, the chest muscles, the big one and the little one. And you have this kind of, I'm gonna show you here. If you do this, and you can grab here to massage this muscle. So find that position, and then massage a little bit around here, and you will probably find some trigger points like, okay, try to push that a little bit, because it's probably gonna be releasing some tension. And just keep going and breathe while you're doing this. So breathe. Try to relax your shoulder as much as possible. Relax your face and really push those trigger points. And then release. Whew. So if you do it like this, it's much more releasing than if you just do that wall stretch and talking to someone. When you do this with the breath, it's so much better. And it's harder for me with the other side. I'm gonna do it like this. Okay, so I'm turning away from you. I'm sorry, but at least you can hear me. So I'm finding my full range here, and then I'm grabbing that muscle, giving it a massage. Whew. Yeah, this side is more tense for me because I'm a horn player. So I use this arm much more forward, and these muscles get more tight and short. So I really need to do this more. I can feel that. So keep breathing, relax your face. Oh, relax your feet. I could feel that. I'm just like locking my knees because it's kind of intense. Okay, let's go. And just like, a bit of King Kong to massage it. Well done. Okay, now we're going into the Malasana, the deep squat. So mat distance apart, feet about 45 degrees out, and sit down all the way into a deep squat. If this is super tense for you, then you could put your blocks in under or put on some high heels, and it will be probably easier. So sit down in your Malasana, hands together, push your knees out, and now we're going to activate on the back side again. So bring your right hand down to the floor, and then from the back side, rotate up towards the left. Stretch your arm as a lengthening of that position. Then bring your arm in, make a fist, and then try to push it even a little bit more down, or back, I mean pull, not push, but pull with your back muscle. And then you can open up again. Try to breathe, relax your neck, maybe shake it a little bit, drop your head down, or do whatever feels nice. And try to let your hips be heavy down, push your knees out, keep breathing, then come all the way back to the middle. A couple of breaths here, just land. And then left hand down, and with your back open. So pull it back and open up. Then bring your arm in, make a fist, and try to push it even, or pull it even more back. So you can feel that activation on the backside. And out, push your knees out, drop your hip down, keep breathing. And I know this is a very intense one. Relax your neck, your face, keep breathing. Then come back down, hands together, and take a breath here. And now we're gonna really work with the back side. So both arms lifting up. So you need that nice open position. Otherwise you will end up something like this. So try to lift your heart with your back. Shoulder blades are melting out to the side, so you can open up here. And keep breathing. And just sit down. Oh, nice work. So you can feel that even if it looks maybe easy, it's like a full body workout to do those things and really to activate on the back side. You're going to use a block or a book or a can of beans, whatever you have again. And we're going to get in contact with some core muscles as well, because they are, as you probably felt, very supportive. And that will, the thing is that if you have a stable ground, a stable, this kind of squeeze towards the midline, then your upper body can be so much more free. And that's the feeling you want also when you play, right? So you want the stability, you want to, especially if you're a wind player, you want to be able to use your support, but still have a big breath and be free. And if you play some string or other instrument, of course, you also want that freedom in the upper body to just flow. You want that moto, right, in the body. So then we need to work with the core muscles. I'm showing it first, so I'm rolling down on my back, and I will put my feet 90 degrees. So you see it's 90 degrees in my hip and in my knees. And I put the block between my knees. So I need to activate, hold that block. And then I will put my shoulder blades in under and lift up my tailbone towards the block. And it does look much, so you can try it now. So lie down on your back, 90 degrees in your hip, in your knees, and block together, hold it together, and then try to lift up. And it doesn't look very much, but I'm sure you're gonna feel it. And then put your hip down again and try to breathe, or you might even hold your breath when you're doing that activation. So do it 2 more times to really get in contact with those low core muscles. Lift up again. And yes, it can be shaky, that's okay. It's your muscles working. Try to relax your jaw and your face and breathe while you're doing this. Okay, another variation if you want. Then put your hands together on the back of your head, elbows out to the sides, and then I'm lifting up. No, I want to put my elbows towards the roof, I think, and I lift off my shoulder blades and do the same lift with my hips, and it's much more intense, and it's hard to talk while I'm doing this. And then rest down your shoulder blades, and you can do this 2 more times, or go with the first variation we did. So you don't have to lift away your shoulder blades. And you can maybe push out your elbows. I'm actually not sure which one I prefer, but don't pull your neck. You're trying to lift up with your muscles. And rest down. Nice work. Put away the block, and then just roll up. And we're gonna do a diaphragm stretch, because the diaphragm, the muscle, the breathing muscle, is very important for all people, and it's actually important for the shoulders as well, because if you are not able to relax your diaphragm when you inhale, or if you have a bad position, then you probably breathe more up here, and that will make everything to these muscles that will then be overworked, and yeah, it's really not helpful. So we're gonna stretch the diaphragm to try to get in better contact with that. So you're gonna lie down the same way and stretch your hands over your head, and then just push your feet a little bit down to just lift, so you can tip tip your hip a little bit, so you flatten out your lower back down into the mat. And from here, take a big inhale, and then exhale through the mouth, like you're creating fog on a mirror. And all the way out, all the way, until you feel your abdominals are helping you to squeeze out the air. And then take another big inhale. And then exhale. And one more time. So you really stretch out your hands above your head. Exhale, exhale, exhale. And probably you're done now, or keep going. So that was a stretch of the diaphragm, because in the end, it's pushing out the air, going up, and hopefully it will help you to breathe deeper. We're gonna do some more work on the back side. You need a block or a book or a can or whatever in front of your mat like this. And when I say that you're gonna hold the block later, you're gonna have flat hands like this, okay? So no cheating, holding like this, flat hands like this. So we're gonna activate more, and it's several options on this one as well. So I'm lying down on my belly. I have my legs together, and I push down my toes, activate in the legs, the glutes. I pull my navel towards the spine, so I activate the core. And then, like you want to go up in a cobra, you can try that first, just to lift on the back side and lift off your hands 1 centimeter. So now you're feeling that you're working with the backside. Try to have a relaxed neck. Come down, back again. Then reach for your block in front of you. And if you are looking, you can see that I have my hands, my arms bent a little bit, so my elbows are out to the sides. So now again, start from your toes, activate through your whole body. And now you're gonna lift off your elbows and try to activate that area in between your shoulder blades. Then see if you can lift off your head. And if it's still that area where active, come back down, take a rest. Because the thing is that if you're not activating the whole body here, it might go up in your neck instead. So if you feel any tension in your neck, then just come back down and back off. So maybe then it's enough for you with just lifting the elbows. So now let's take it a step further. Start with your toes, activate, find your core, then lift off your elbows, and find that area, lift off your head, if that was okay for you, and see if you can even lift your block. And try to breathe, relax your face, and you're working with the back side. And just step back if you feel that this is too much for you, or if it's going up in your neck, then relax all the way down. We're gonna do it one more time. So pick a choice. What's your level today? And be smart if you have a concert or something, because this can be, yeah, you're working with the backside, and first the muscles will be weak, and then they will be stronger. So start with your toes again, activate your whole body, and then lift off your elbows, find that area in between your shoulder blades, lift off your head and lift off your block. Maybe even you want to stretch it. I think I will make it on fire then over my candles, but you can also stretch out your arms. That's the next level. Okay, rest back down. Put your hands next to your chest and push yourself back. So you can see me, because I'm going to show the next position. It's like a stretch. I know many musicians are doing this. It's kind of the same that we did towards the wall, but we're going to do it dynamically. And it's a dynamically lying down scorpion. Sounds kind of advanced, but it's really not.
So just have a look first. I'm lying still on my belly, forehead down. Then I put my right arm straight out. I use my left arm on the fingertips to help myself to roll over. And I also lift my left leg. So I lift my left leg, I tip over. So this is the scorpion thing that can hurt you. That's my leg. And now I have a nice stretch. You can't, of course, not see this, but I will do it the other way as well. Because you're going here to the right side, and then you're rolling back, stretching out the left hand. You probably don't have a wall here. And then move over to the other side and rest down your head. It's also a bit hard with my headset. And then move over again. So, okay, come to your scorpion. So lie down on your back, no, on your belly. Then reach out your right arm up on the fingertips on your left, lift your left leg and roll over. And then your hand will slide a little bit more to the right. And then come back and try to breathe while you're doing this, and then over to the left side. And keep going a couple of more times. So a dynamic, nice stretch for your shoulder, for your back. It's a nice rotation, and it's good for also your hips, and yeah, it's good for so much. So do a couple of more, maybe 3 on each side. It's a very good way of stretching and getting it flow. And when you have done your 3 times, then just come to child's pose. And this time I want you to broaden out towards the side of the mat, so you can melt your heart down. So now you have more space for both your belly and your heart. Maybe you go all the way down. Maybe you can even melt your heart so it's all the way down in the mat. If you have a lot of flexibility here, you can even put your head up on a block or a book or a cam. And then you have more space to melt into. And no matter where you are, try to put your elbows a little bit more forward. Put your hands together, like we do sometimes in the heart, the Anjali Mudra. So you can walk your elbows a bit more forward and melt your heart down. And I put my hands together and kind of back in my neck to get that nice stretch also for the shoulders. So just breathe. See if you can get your hips heavier and more back and down. And can you really open up around your heart and just melt down into your mat. And feel when you inhale how the breath just goes in on the back side of the body and broaden it. And know that every inhale will give you what you need, and the exhale takes out what you don't need. Take a bigger inhale through the nose and just sigh it out. Put your hands back in the mat and use your hands to push yourself back up to a seated position. A stretch that many of you have done with me before is the eagle arms, but it's very nice to get the blood flowing because now we have been working and activating a lot. So inhale, bring your arms out. Exhale, right arm under the left, so cross, and if possible, cross again. Maybe grab your hand somehow. And try to push the elbows in together. Move them a bit forward. Maybe you even want to drop down your forehead to get a
more of a stretch in the neck. You can lean your forehead down on your upper arm. Try to separate your shoulder blades. And here you can also play around a bit. You can go from one side to the other side, or maybe even do like some kind of circle. And if you feel some area that like, whoa, okay, then maybe stop there. Take a couple of more breaths. Get back up. Take a big inhale. On your exhale, release. So now you were stopping the blood, and now the new blood is coming. Other side, inhale, hands out. And now it's left arm in under, cross again. And now elbows in together, forward, upward. Maybe drop down your head. Separate your shoulder blades. See if you want to go from side to side. Might feel very different, because as we know, it's very few instruments that are balanced when you hold them. It's so many uneven musician shoulders out there. Take a big inhale. On your exhale, release your arms. Nice work. And then I want you to use your block again. And as you can see, the block has different levels. This is the lowest, this is the next one, and this is the highest one. And we're gonna do a half bridge pose. So we're gonna lie down the same way again with the bent legs, feet in the mat, hip distance apart. Then I push down my feet to lift up my hip, and I place the block under my sacrum. It's the flat area between my lower back and my butt. So you can choose which level. The higher is, whoops, I'm losing my headset. The higher is probably too high for most people. So maybe the next level, or try the first one if you're not familiar with this at all. And here, then try to really relax your hip, heavy down. If you're unsure that, oh, do I have it on the right place? Then you can lift up one knee and the other knee. And if you can still balance on it, then you're on the right spot. Otherwise it would fail. Okay, now shoulder blades. Walk them a little bit in, under, in between. Palms facing the roof. And send your breath to the front side of the body. So every inhale, imagine that you're lifting up your heart diagonal back into the room. And every exhale, try to be heavier in your hips. And make sure that you relax your belly so all your inner organs get to hang out a little bit in the other direction. This is so good for your immune system, lymph system, and it's basically good for everything, because now you have your heart a bit higher than your head, so it's calming, but it's opening up your chest, so it's also energizing and uplifting, but in a very grounded way. This is, I often say this, but it's my favorite position, but this is really a favorite one. You can do this every day as much as you want. It's not dangerous at all. Okay, so push down your feet to lift up your hip so you can take away the block, and then just roll your back all the way down, super slow. Bring your feet out mat distance apart, and one knee, both knees over to the left side, and then switch both knees. So keep your feet on the same place. So this is like the wipers on the car front window. I never remember that word. I had to say that 10 times, I think, when we recorded the yoga concert. And now I still can't remember it because I said wrong every time. Okay, one more to the left, one more to the right, then end in the middle. Maybe you want to hug in your knees towards your chest. Take a couple of breaths. And we're going to do a lying down rotation. So stretch out your left leg. And then put down your right leg in the mat. Your right leg is bent. Then I jump my left hip maybe 10 centimeters towards the middle of the mat, and I roll over towards the left side. And here you can use your block under your knee, because I want you to keep both shoulder blades in the mat. And you can use the block on a higher level or maybe not at all. So you can choose. And if you have another variation of this lying down rotation that you like better, you can of course do that. You can have cactus arms, you can bend your arms, or you can see if you want to look towards the right arm, maybe bring that a little bit more up. So make your choice. You can put your left hand on your right knee or like in under the knee. So you can help that with like a little weight there and keep breathing. So now you're rotating the spine to really squeeze out all tension, all bad feelings or frustration or whatever. It's very good in the morning for a warm-up, of course, but it's also very good after a long day. And keep breathing, relaxing your neck. Keep a long neck. And then roll back to the middle. Do whatever you need to do here. Maybe you want to stretch out or hug your knees again. And then stretch your right leg. Jump your right hip 10 centimeters to the middle of the mat. Roll over towards the right. Maybe you want to put your right hand in on your knee. Keep both shoulder blades in the floor. Bring out your left arm, maybe a bit upwards. Maybe you look for it. And just try to melt into the pose. Try to relax as much as possible. So do you have any tension somewhere? Do you, like maybe the right arm now is like holding, but try to relax it. Use it just as a weight. And keep breathing in and out through your nose. Relax your long neck, your face, your jaw. And then roll back to the middle. Stretch out both legs. Let them just fall naturally out. Bring your shoulder blades a little bit in under you. Make sure that your palms are facing the roof. And close your eyes and take a minute in Shavasana. Or you can stop the film and you can take 10 minutes. So just relax as much as possible. It's nothing more to do. It's just about being. So you now just let go of that yoga breathing. So trust your breathing system. It will take care of your breath. So let it just be automatically. And try to relax as much as possible. And you should put the Shavasana into every day, maybe several times during your day. Take a bigger inhale through your nose and then sigh it out. And slowly start to roll over to your right side. So you're lying on your right side. Take a couple of breaths there before you use your hands and push yourself back up to a seated position. And you have time, so there is no rush. When you are seated, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Maybe roll your shoulders back. Hopefully they are feeling happy. Namaste.